Olá a todos, muito bem-vindos a mais uma online talk. Já vem sendo o hábito neste lançamento dos Dias da Percussão de Portimão. Vamos para a quinta edição. Este ano com uma programação, como todos os outros, diga-se de passagem, muito variada, muito heterogénea, que traz desfiles, traz música contemporânea, traz música tradicional portuguesa, mas sempre aqui com a percussão como linha e como foco. Este ano aqui com uma participação especial, né? Temos aqui o European Arts, agora esqueci-me do nome, a Daniela
European
depois já...
Festival Association.
European Festival, e eu estou aqui pronto, na qualidade de diretor artístico, aqui em parceria com a Partner in Crime Daniela Tomaz, desde 2013. É verdade que este festival é a quinta edição dos Dias da Percussão, mas nós iniciámos em 2012, eu sozinho, depois a partir de 2013 com a Daniela. Portanto, vamos aqui já com bem mais de 10 anos de percussão em Portimão e cá estamos para durar, assim esperamos. Passa lá, Daniela, e pronto, sigam a nossa programação e lá estará toda a informação necessária. Yeah.
Obrigada, Vasco. Então vou passar aqui para inglês, também para as nossas colegas que estão aqui hoje, para estarmos nesta língua comum. Good evening, everyone. Now in English, thank you everyone for coming to this special talk on DPP 2026, Dias da Percussão Portimão, Percussion Portimão Days. And it's a pleasure to just have you all, this extraordinary panel here with us tonight. And first of all, and like Vasco said, this is already our 5th edition with o Corvia Raposa, this small cultural association in the southwest of Eurasia, in Vila do Bispo. And Vasco, he's the lead percussionist in Algarve region. You started percussion teaching already some years ago.
Yes, yeah, 20 years ago.
Yeah, time flies.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Vasco started this project in 2012 by himself. At the time, it was more marimba, right? It was more.
Yes, it was more connected to the marimba and vibraphone, and just the year after we moved to the all percussion, and yeah.
And we started working more with world music and searching all these different languages. And of course, in 2021, we grew up with the support of the Directorate General for the Arts of Portugal. We've been lucky enough to have received this small grant for projects since that time. And this year's, very especially, we could, for the first time, also be a leading festival for the European Festival Association, particularly on this amazing grant that they have to support emerging artists, the European Festival Fund for Emerging Artists. And it wouldn't be possible to have this opportunity if we wouldn't have Kasia Kadłubowska, of course, from Poland and Mannheim here with us tonight. Hi, Kasia. And of course, also Katerina, Woman Reclaiming the Arts. Thank you also for being with us in the partnership. And Fanny, Marta, Music Biennale Zagreb. Thank you so much. So maybe we just pass the first round to present ourselves. Maybe Kasia, let's start with you, our artist tonight.
Hello, good evening. I'm very happy and honored to be invited in the festival in Portimão as a resident artist, and I'm coming to work with a percussion ensemble and to make a workshop, and I will work with the ensemble about free improvisation, about traditional music, and all of this in the context of classical music, because this is my background. I'm coming from classical music, but since actually I finished my studies, I went out into the contemporary free improvisation and experimental pop, started to compose and produce myself. So I'm freelance musician, so I'm trying to took a lot of different fields into my work. I'm instrumentalist, I'm percussionist. And in the last years, I also work a lot or reflect the music in the context of traditional music. I look a little bit closer into my own heritage from Eastern European traditional songs, I work with this material, I arrange it, and I'm reflecting about what the traditional music actually roles in communities was and is, and how it reflects on the classical music nowadays, and how can we use it as an inspiration towards something which is more community connect. So that would be from my side.
Great, Kasia. Maybe Fanny?
Well, thank you, Daniela. Thank you, Kasia. So I am here as the executive director of Music Biennale Zagreb. We are a partner on this wonderful project, and we are a member of the European Festival Association for several years. Myself, I've only been with the festival for 2 years. The festival was created in 1961, so there's a long history before me. And a lot of things have been done and tried, because it is, before anything else, a festival of avant-garde music. This is what it was in the 60s, and nowadays we're really trying to always find ways to make it relevant and innovative and life-enhancing for our audiences.
Great. Katerina from Greece.
Well, hello everyone. I'm Katerina, and I'm a partner to your amazing project, and really honored to be here with you. Under the European Festival Association. Well, you maybe find my story familiar, as I think that more and more people decide to give up on competitive money-orientated careers and turn to professions that offer them greater job satisfaction. So I started working in the banking sector from a young age. It's a job that was handed down to me, so to say, from my father. But after almost 20 years of service, I felt I needed to take a big turn in my life. I resigned and founded an arts collective. I have been organizing arts events, festivals, concerts, and arts education programs ever since. And then, let's say in the middle, I co-founded a non-profit company, Klug, which is the partner actually, and that specializes in arts production and in educational programs for children and teenagers. Women Reclaiming the Arts, our festival, which aims to support and empower women in arts and culture, mainly. The festival emerged from our aspiration and our need to reach out to other women, be they artists, aspiring artists, or arts industry people. So this year, the festival will also take place in October, and with a little bit of luck, a pop-up version of it will also be presented in Thessaloniki, the second largest city in Greece. We keep it in small scale, and we try to offer inspiration to the local community, which it will try to include in its activities. It's actually, in short, a channel of artistic and cultural dialogue between the hosted artists and the community will be a primary objective.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
That sounds great. I hope one day to go to Thessaloniki and be able to enjoy your festival. So the issue at hand, female empowerment in the art sector. This subject is also our partner festival, Women Reclaiming the Arts, like we just heard. Of course, it's the name says it all. But maybe we just pass another round of just and maybe Vasco, we start first. How this do we address at some point or not? Maybe gender balance in our programming. How do we feel in a more wider spec about these questions related to inclusion and access that are very relevant nowadays, also in the European scene, and of course with our EFFEA emerging artist today, Kasia, also to speak about her own experience. Vasco, how do you feel?
Oh, yes. Yeah. it's for me, as I am a musician, but I'm also a percussion teacher. So I teach for more than 20 years, and yeah, it's interesting because I could say that already had more than 200, 300 students, and most of them are boys, not girls. So it's still, I mean, the percussion still a very, I mean, connected to the men. I don't know why, but even because in percussion, for example, in marimba, our god of the marimba, it's Keiko Abe, so it's a woman, so she just make the marimba uh, known all over the world. So, but yeah, for example, in my class in Evora, I have 8 students. And just 9 students, and just I have one goal in the. So I don't know why, but you are here. We have this for women in the here, so
in
you
the
can,
room.
yeah. You can talk more about your
Yeah.
experience and your what you think about this. For me, I still don't figure it out.
Yeah, and
Right.
also to just complement what Vasco was saying, because this also came up like a question programming the festival these years, that sometimes you just look at the artist programmed and it's like 100% male based. And this is something that at least I would say personal for me, being a woman, started to be an issue. I remember with another platform, this Encontros Med in Ideia Nova, that's how actually I met Kasia's work through Mannheim UNESCO Creative City of Music, Matthias, and thank you, Matthias, for curating Kasia. And at the time was this idea of trying to find female frame drummers. Of course, we know that from Iran, there's this amazing, Kasia, for sure, you know more about this than me, this huge tradition. We had Mariam Hatef, a frame drummer in Encontros Med like 2 years ago. And of course she, and there still is a lot of complicated issues around women being presented, for example, from those countries. Of course, here in Portugal, we can say there's overall, at least until now, let's see for the elections Sunday how they go, we're still a democratic country, and women, at least in writing, they have the same voice. It's just that sometimes we looked at the programming and it was really unbalanced. At the end, we thought that Kasia would be more interesting to be here with us in the Percussão Portimão, and I'm very glad because this opened this new opportunity. But still is this challenge. If we want to go, we have several proposals that come to us. If they come from contemporary percussion groups, they're all male artists. They're all male percussionists. No, Vasco?
Yes, yeah.
And it's actually today I'm also going to Porta Jazz. They are our partner, and they're doing a jazz festival here in Porto. They're also very much connected with percussion, but more with jazz language in general. And there is a female project that presents itself tomorrow. And well, I'll be there. I'm quite curious, but it shouldn't be like this. No, it shouldn't be an exception. Should be balanced overall. We shouldn't have to like, oh, let's think about it. But well, that's a little bit our experience. I don't know if Fanny, how do you feel overall with this, for example?
That was a major question for me when I arrived at Music Biennale Zagreb, in particular because I am not from that region of Europe. I'm from France, and I spent the past 20 years in the UK and in Canada. And of course, the relationship with questions of perhaps equity or social questions in general are different everywhere we go. It's influenced by many, many factors. And so my first goal was, first of all, to observe and understand what is different and what can change, because something needs to change everywhere. I think that's what we are saying now. I started really, 20 years ago. I was thinking about this when we prepared for this discussion 20 years ago. I was preparing the edition of my first festival as a producer, and that was the Manchester Jazz Festival. And we really talked about this a lot, but the difference is perhaps that, yeah, Manchester Jazz Festival was one of the first festivals in the UK to join Key Change, which is an initiative for gender equity in live music. And so these principles were already very much at work when I was there myself, and this idea of, you know, paying attention to choices. So in programming, in you know, how things are created in general, what can you change at the level of you know, the choices you make right from the start, for example, because you can't really correct a program that is already 99% male. Let's say you can't just inject a few women here and there. Like, it's more about the initial big choices that you make. And just one more reflection on also my 20 years. I wasn't always in live music, like I've been doing a lot of different things. But when I worked in particular in the more like the music pedagogy side of things, so working with music schools, music educators, music teachers, it really is true that stereotypes still hold very strong, but everybody benefits from breaking them up, be it in science or, you know, in any other discipline in general. This idea that, you know, girls and boys are on separate tracks that are predetermined is really harmful to everyone. So change really needs to start very early on. And we can't just look at the situation now and think, oh, you know, all the ensembles or composers that we want to program, okay, a lot of them are kind of male heavy. Well, the change will come if we continue to start things early on in the, let's say, the time pipeline. We need to keep hold of it, as well as the stage representation. So yeah, there's a big work of advocacy, but I think we need to unite as well with any other sector in society that needs to break up these stereotypes.
Yes, definitely. Also in the years of Percussão Portimão, it's, of course, we, at least at this point, we don't really intervene in that early steps still. But so, for our connection with the community, and like also Katerina said, they are very community oriented. Here in Portimão, we discovered also a strong, of course, we cannot hold the festival throughout the city, because the festival actually it's with the Tempo, Teatro Municipal, and also on more unusual venues like Sociedade Vencedora Portimonense. But all these possibilities that are here are at hand in Portimão would only be possible because we have a strong mediation program with all these workshops that mainly Vasco know. They're also from our partners here. I don't know if Vasco is still with us, or at least for me the image is freezing. But yes, we have a strong mediation project, and at least, for example, this year we have 5 workshops that they are more for younger audiences, and really to put them together on also working on audience development, because we think, of course, if they are also going to these workshops, we allow them also to be in the concerts later on, and that's our way also of working with the community. But yes, still this in terms of inclusion and gender balance is still sometimes difficult for us to address. But of course, even being at this later stage of things, like Fanny said, no, we're not maybe at this starting point. We need to work it as a country, has a bigger, wider community. But at least on programming, we can have a say, and maybe yes, if we and being more attentive also towards it. And yes, definitely. Katerina, and why did you started this maybe this project, Women Reclaiming the Arts? Is, you know, it's really a very outstanding name connected with the issue at hand. Did you felt that there in Saloniki you would need to address it specifically on a platform? How did it happen?
Well, to tell you the truth, I was thinking all this time that you guys talking that what happens to us is exactly the opposite. I mean, when we launch an open call, for example, most of the applications are from women. And as I watch not everything, but a lot of things happening in the city, they are mostly made by women. So I'm thinking that maybe it's geographical, the theme. I mean, Vasco was wondering why is this happening in his team, and similar teams that are here in Thessaloniki are equal. I mean, 50-50 or more women. Women are everywhere. So our thoughts was to begin some let's say actions for empower women in arts and culture, but this turned to be more stronger. It came to be stronger. I mean, more voices came near us and asking for space. So this is why we turned this into a festival, because it's such a wide range and so many women trying to express their art and their free voice. So this is what actually we do. We just let them speak. I just wanted to add about the inclusion and access challenges and the balance that you mentioned. In our opinion, women not only need, but are rather entitled to empowerment practices, or you can call it affirmative action if you wish. I just wanted to mention too, I mean, there are so many things to pay attention, but the pay gap, for example, is an existent problem in Europe, and it also applies to arts professions. And recently, there was a Eurostat saying that in Europe, women earn 12% less than men, whereas in Greece, the percentage is higher, it's 13.4. Another thing is the motherhood penalty. It's a significant problem which refers to the disadvantage in employment, payment, and career opportunities, of course, that working mother face. And as you know, a lot of artistic work is done at home, so it is often nearly impossible for a mother of young kids to be able to claim even a minimum of alone time. We were discussing with our team, and this is why we find Virginia Woolf's essay, A Room of One's Own, relevant, if I may say, to the present day, because women are entitled to a space of their own, where they can be alone for their thoughts, unleash their creative imagination, and of course, find their inspiration. I mean, this is a significant thing for us, and this is what it's inspired us in most.
Okay. Just a small question before passing to Kasia. So when you do your open call, it's an open call that it's open to all genders in that sense for your festival?
Not in Women Reclaiming the Arts, but the other festivals we were ahead of, which was art festival in one, and most of the applications were from women, yes.
But in Women Reclaiming the Arts, is woman-based or?
Yes, it is women-based, but we do not exclude anyone. Okay. It is women-based, but if somebody or someone else wants to add something, there is, of course, space for everyone.
Okay, great. Kasia, tell us a little bit about your experience to the subject.
Oh, yes, subject is very wide and very, let's say, site-specific. I think each of us depends on where we are and where we are coming from, gets a different perspectives. So I'm from Poland and I'm living since 20 years in Germany now. So I have already also like Fanny, two very different point of views on the subject, but like to say the site specific. I in Poland the female percussionists, especially marimba players, are very strong. So because of Kasia Myćka is another player. And I was studying with a female professor, which is also Polish. It happened to be Polish, but teaching in Germany. And in our percussion class, it was at least 50-50 also. So what can I say? This is like one example that the role models are extremely important. So this is like the first thing that I would love to speak about, like how we put the role models, how we empower the woman to take responsibility, to take like some kind of jobs, like in the festivals or programming or teaching, but also on stage, of course. This is like another subject. Why we have also almost singer ladies on stage and instrumentalists are always underrepresented. I mean, there's many things we know why it is like this from the system, from the history, and we are on the way to change it. And even if I see myself as a very privileged, middle European white woman with access to all education and all possibilities, I see the problem in this, that we don't have this this obvious fight sometimes, and the difference is getting really much more fine and diverse, and we really need to find. I see that the palette is big, because I have a student of mine. I'm teaching on other festivals, so they are coming and they complaining. And it's also like the students, the female students, stay in their own circle, okay? They come to me, which is great, so I can go to the festival director and talk and think about it, like how to change it. And but what I understand, what I see from the practice, it's we miss an education, wide education program for everybody to understand. For me, it's sometimes really difficult to understand where the problem is. For me, sometimes I oversee that something is maybe out of balance, or my colleagues overseas. It's like for the both sides. For teachers, especially for teachers or the people in the position of power, like the people who programming, the people who giving the spaces, who I think it's it's a lot of work, like a lot of responsibility in these positions. And of course, many people are aware of this, but I think we need much more understanding and much more tools to talk about it.
Mhm.
This is what I miss personally. I found myself in Vomex I think in Portugal, where I joined the female gathering, where exactly everybody was invited, but the subject was female artist on stage and behind the stage, of course. And I found it very helpful. I found it very helpful that my father, who is my manager also, he was there, and like different generations, he had this opportunity to hear so many things he never thought about. So this is very important to have some thoughts about educational programs. How can we really talk about it, and how can we understand more? Everybody needs to understand more about it. Exactly why it's unequal, and how can we change it? And giving, as you now doing it on your festival, giving me personally opportunity, of course, it empowers so much because I can do the work. I can, go out of my comfort zone. I basically only grow. I can, and beside of this, that of course it's helped me like to go to another festival programmers and so on and so on. It's so much, what you do. So I hope it will be more possible like to open this spectrum and be a little bit more maybe to put a little bit more effort to find the female artists because they are there. It's a lot, many female artists doing great job. They are also visible, but somehow still this balance,
ceiling.
visibility, right? This is not there yet. And the last thing about this subject, it's also for me, it's all about diversity. It's more about, if we have a dialogue on the table, it's more about to give the voice to everybody and not only to the people who are confident and able to speak loud, okay? And it can be men, women, and everybody from all the spectrum. So I think in the end, I'm really sometimes, and I don't want to sound angry, but I'm sometimes tired of this dual dialogue, conversation. And sometimes we need to see a bit more further, like in the future, that when we don't have this subject of male and female, we talk about, okay, how can we give the equal voice to everybody, equal time, because also the people who are just listening and not feeling like to share their thoughts, they often have a lot of very important things to share, to do, to contribute, or to, some insights. So that would be my, I don't know, like vision or hope.
No, amazing insight. No, yes, definitely. For what I feel also that you just mentioned now, very important. Programming platforms have to really advocate for this. And I didn't know that WOMEX had this also gathering talk, that workshop that you mentioned. I think it's important. I hope one day we don't really need to address it at such a specific level and move on. But at least from my perspective, I feel that giving it light, it's one way to provide this possibility. And also what you mentioned about role models, I think it's very important. If you feel represented when you see in stage or in an online talk and all these possibilities, of course you feel empowered, and role models definitely are very important. And I don't know if this strategy, what can we do? I don't know if anybody wants to add another possibility.
It's not so much a possibility, it's more of a kind of warning in what Kasia is saying, to not start telling before doing. Whenever there is, a desire for change, it's better to really understand first what will be the barriers to implementing these changes, or to really plan and to do some trials. It can be having a policy for, let's say, equity-based programming. I would say it's more important to do it first rather than publishing a pledge that says we will do it, and then this there is a bit of a backlash currently about diversity programs, diversity schemes. It's more on the other side of the Atlantic, perhaps, but I was in Canada for the past quite a few years, and you see some differences happening, especially in the States. And there's this idea of, I'm not saying at all that the diversity programs that are cut were shallow or empty, but some of them probably definitely have been. We saw that a lot during COVID as well, like doing empty manifestos towards Black Lives Matter, etc., but without the action behind. And so the actions need to be actually realizable, measurable. It's about understanding the baseline as well, like where are we right now in this question of equitable, let's say, programming, if that's what it is, and then understanding, where have been some successes, where have been some, maybe slower kind of pace of change. So I'm all just for advocating but not shouting about something that hasn't happened yet. I think that can be dangerous, because then we get confused between what is and what looks good in a report.
Yes, and just to add also a little bit, of course, there's the Percussão. It belongs also to a national fund, and with the rules of an application, and more particularly on this one. Some years ago, we had at least one call. I remember Vasco was like intercultural dialogue, and for example, you have to include Afro-descendant artists. They were. And of course, they immediately dropped it because it was also not maybe the right way to address the subject. And instead, it's like you say, no, instead of just showing it, we should do it. And of course, there are in applications, it starts to be also something that's very well stated, and it can be tricky, like you say, no, if we just follow up a rule on an application and we don't really have that inner drive onto it, can be really not with the results that are more structured in a way as to change the society, right? I don't know, Katerina, also if also I think Kasia also mentioned a little bit these possibilities, but do you feel that, for example, any other possibility? You already work a lot with gender balance, but do you feel that it will be possible another strategy?
Maybe, yeah. Well, maybe a good practice would be to allow not only women but everyone to express their creative voice. Speaking of arts, of course, okay, and. I think that through the festival or through various of events, we should raise awareness to issues that are currently discussing with the help of public talks like this one, or by presenting art which reflects on and discusses women experiences and challenges, socially prescribed identities and roles. Of course, some other, it might be helpful if we plan some talks and workshops with the aim of helping people or women, let's say, to restart careers or offer some useful advice. I mean, lately I came to an aunt of mine needed help with social media. I mean, she couldn't get through what was popping up. So every age is applicable and has to offer and establish something that it's not to boost the career, one's career, or somebody can use some advice. Or even to solidarity is something that we should stand by, even if things do not affect us personally. Staying connected and trying to join forces as much as possible always helps. Or even, yeah, and I just wanted to add up that offering, especially women, because I'm representing a women festival, I just wanted to say that offering women artists the stage and the fair payment is something that we should never forget.
Definitely, Katerina. I don't know, Kasia, if you want to add something else to the table.
Yeah, difficult to add anything else. I think many things are said, and I'm thinking like, what is the what can we do? There's so much to do, you know.
Yes, it's a hard topic. It's a hard topic.
Yes, it's a very wide topic, and I think I will just like for me it's the utopic idea. Okay, how does it look if we don't talk about it anymore? How do we look when we get on this stage, and let it be in please 10 years?
Yes.
Like how the politics works, because it's like, as we said, as we all know, it's much wider. And I do believe that maybe it's important that we are aware that cultural section, music, or culture in general is still with all the colors, but we still have like a community of people that really are close to the subject, to some values, and are sensitive and receiving for this kind of subject. Okay, the sensibility is very high in our environment, so I really hope that the cultural section can be like the rider on the front, that all the other section can take example from us. I really believe in this power and in the culture, and I think it's important that we are aware of this and we really don't give up on this.
Yes, definitely don't give up. It's just a small comment, even previously to Katerina. Of course, solidarity is very important, how you mentioned, and just a small also. It's maybe impossible not to mention today that, for example, here in Portugal, we're being completely being devastated by climate change and all these difficult phenomena. And it's like, and sometimes it's how can you address, because addressing these issues at hand that we have tonight, of course, it belongs, like Kasia says, I hope in 10 years we don't really have to speak about it. It's just will happen naturally. But it feels like we keep getting pushed down to a lower base of our pyramid, or we just want water and electricity. And it's like, and feels like sometimes, unfortunately, you are trying to build a healthier society, a democratic society where we all have voices, and then suddenly we're just struggling to have a roof over our heads. And of course, that's right now in Portugal, it's completely overwhelming, and it's very unempowered on thinking on what to do. And also speaking about the politics, like you mentioned, the scene right now, it's also very unstable. But I think it's like you say, we shouldn't give up. And the art sector must be a motor and a drive, and we have to keep on our fight. That it's for a better society. I think if we are all here, it's because we believe in this. And I don't know if anyone else wants to add something more. Should wrap it up. No, we will readdress it to Portimão. Please be invited for the 14th February. We will all be here. Well, Fanny, I'm so sorry. Well, not for this time. We will be able to meet you in person, but Dorothea Ratz, right? She will be there. And 14th February at 5 o'clock in Fanny, be there. We will meet in person and talk about all this and get acquainted also with the festivals at hand. And I don't know, before closing it up, I don't know if anyone else wants to add something.
I want to add something. So during the festival, the weather will be really nice.
Amazing.
Sun will rise. So don't worry to come to Portimão. It will be like.
I think we checked it today. So. It's opening. So. I think the day before the festival, the sun is coming, and we just think.
So praying for.
That means that female empowerment it will not be let aside. And it will be a pleasure for y'all. Thank you. And we will, before wrapping it up, we will finish. We started with 2 special videos from the festivals, the partner festivals. Once more, really want to appreciate EFFEA team, Donica, amazing, Luana. I feel so so grateful to have this opportunity also to grow as a person and professional. And Kasia, we will end up with your video. I don't know if can you explain it a little bit what we will hear at the wrap up of this talk?
Yeah, it's the video from studio from my solo album. It was recorded indeed after COVID, so it's a little bit a while ago. But you can see there like some samples of my solo work from my first album where I composed basically my own pieces. So enjoy.
Great. And come to Portimão. Kasia is performing and premiering the 15th February at 5 o'clock in Museu de Portimão. Vasco is opening up the festival with Drumming Percussion Group. We will have to tell Miguel Bernal so to include women next time. And there will be wonderful opportunities to discuss, to see emerging artists, more established artists. Come to Portimão. And thank you, everyone.